Welcome to another episode of Chat Sports Talk. I'm back. Yeah, it's been a while. I do apologize. I had to take some time off, some personal time off to kind of reset. Like I said, this has been kind of tumultuous a time frame in my life. Anyways, most of you guys have been with this channel. I've realized I've gone through some serious downers. Um, so I've been putting forth the videos I probably should. Definitely if those of the NFL, definitely lacking in that department. Uh, so try to get back in this. Get back to I think the meat, the substance of this channel, and it is the wettest scenarios, the crazy possibilities that could possibly happen. And I'm diving into, in case you can tell by the thumbnail, NHL expansion. Everyone's going, "Oh, great, here we go again." It's a topic that's on the radar once again, all stemming from the Smith Entertainment Group up there in Salt Lake City, owner of the Jazz, wanting to start the expansion process now. He said he can support a NHL franchise right meow, get him in there, get him in the Delta Center in time frame they can build a brand new arena. He wants it to happen. Not so long ago, the Houston Rockets owner has expressed interest in acquiring a franchise to play in Toyota Center temporarily until they can build a brand new facility. And then you look at the debacle that is the Arizona Coyotes. The Desert Dogs finding themselves in a conundrum right now. The Suns don't want to play in downtown in the Footprint Center because that it's not advantageous for NHL game in a basketball arena. I went to a game there when they're still called the Phoenix Coyotes. Not very advantageous for hockey in that facility. So I know not too long after they moved out there to Phoenix, they started looking at trying to find a new location. Scottsdale was always on top of their list. And I'm getting the deal in Glendale. Built that brand new arena out there. Glendale also built a new football stadium for the Arizona Cardinals. The Coyotes also rebranded as the Arizona Coyotes to get a more wider aspect. However, ineptness by the ownerships, and there's been quite a few of them that have owned the Coyotes in the Valley of the Sun, have really kind of dragged the franchise down. Not many playoff experiences. Then towards the end of their tenure in Glendale, failure to pay rent, pay staff, lay on taxes. Glendale's like, we're done. Just like any other landlord that has a tenant that doesn't pay routinely, or you are late on your mortgage payment, your bank will foreclose on your property. The landlord kicked out the tenant. So then they were scrambling trying to find a home. Son's owner's like, no, you ain't coming back down here. Veterans Memorial, really old facility. So they waited and they teamed up with the Arizona State, with Mullet Arena, a arena designated for Southern Professional Hockey, SPHL. Maybe even the Western Hockey League, a junior league. Nowhere near NHL level. Definitely in amenities and seating. It's a joke. Nothing against Arizona State because it's college hockey. You're not expected to get a huge crowd unless you're only the big time programs like North Dakota. And the Ice Devils are finding their footing. And they wouldn't have a hockey team that wasn't for the NHL. We wouldn't have Austin Matthews if it wasn't for the Arizona Coyotes. Putting the Coyotes in Arizona is not a deal breaker because there's a lot of Midwesterners in Arizona, just like there's a bunch of East Coasters in Florida. That's why hockey's going down there, and it has varying degrees of success. All depends on ownership. So now this new ownership trying to get Tempe deal or Tempe to approve of a stadium failed miserably on three fronts. So he's like, all right, we're gonna get this state entrusted land, in Scottsdale, Phoenix Scottsdale area. There's a problem with that. They have to wait to a certain date before they auction off the property. You don't know how many other entities are going to show up. The Arizona Diamondbacks is talking about building a brand new facility. They don't like the Chase Field. They could put their name in that hat. So there's no guarantees that Coyotes is going to get any type of arena. Even if it's done, it won't be ready for 2 to 3 years. And Player Association and fans are tired of it. Now, I know I kind of harped on that one a little bit, but that's part of the layers coming into this story. So looking at an aspect that, the Coyotes is in disarray, pretty much a team living in temporary shelter, no permanent home. The league now looking and trying to get $1 billion entry fee from new owners and hit new markets. They're looking at trying to go back to old familiar stopping grounds. And there's other videos out there that go about that. Atlanta's always top of everyone's list because it's a huge metro area. And with the Gwinnett Gladiators, now the Atlanta Gladiators, really resurrecting hockey fandom in the Atlanta metro area. The Thrashers had a following. They just had poor management. And they only had one successful season. The Flames were more successful than the Thrashers. Left after 8 years. But, will NHL go back to a city for a third time? That's up there. But money talks. This is not Bettman's thing. This is the owners. Owners have to approve it. Bettman is just the face. He says, okay, this is the direction we're going. The owners go either yay or nay. The owners are always accept money. They have their price. They say everyone has their price. Their price is the color green. So if they can get a ownership group in Atlanta that's totally focused on hockey and just hockey related, and apparently there's a new arena trying to be built, a whole new entertainment complex as well, a whole shebang going with it, which most arenas tend to go nowadays. So could there be a chance of Atlanta getting a third attempt? Yes. There's also talks of nostalgia, bringing back older franchises like the Hartford Whalers and the Quebec Nordiques. Quebec's got the Videotron Center built and tried to attract it. Kansas City built T-Mobile, then Sprint Center to attract, and never got it. So you get all these different scenarios with, 2 NBA owners, 2 cities building stadiums, another fan base trying to get up there. And you still have some outliers out there like Milwaukee and Portland and Hamilton, even Saskatchewan. You could pick between Saskatoon and Regina, where you want to put a franchise. And there's so many different unique areas where we could place teams. It gets, creative juices flowing. So this is going to be my perspective on how things could possibly go. Now, this is not a catch-all or a aspect that's going to be completely legitimized. This is just one particular avenue. I did not go with the Atlanta route. I did not bring back the whale, even though I love to see the whale come back.
But in this scenario, the Coyotes are relocated. I mean, it's not that I don't think they have the fan base there. They do have it, for the most part. You know, they tend to be kind of the lower end of the attendance spectrum, but they haven't really been excited about anything going on with the team to really get in there. You see that with any franchise. And I had them go to Salt Lake. Just went ahead. The owner said he wants the team right meow. Here you go. Now what you see before me is just kind of a creation of a uniform that I just kind of threw together. The logos you see are from the Utah Grizzlies of the ECHL, who are one of the most successfully attended teams in that league. And remember, it's Double A. If you think of it that way, you know, like if you look at Major League Baseball, you have the minors, you have the Triple A and Double A. NHL, it's the NHL, AHL, then ECHL. So the talent's not quite NHL level. A lot of them are borderline and just looking to, get in there, or just players that have their shot, injuries, whatnot, and they're tail end of their career. You know, all the stories you get anytime you deal with minor league sports. But they ranked in the top 10 ECL in attendance. So I just put them out there. So that's that. So that goes, okay, here's the expansion. I went with 4 cities, made nice and even. Quick little scenario. So expansion 1, brought back to Nordiques. They built the Videotron Center for a reason. So bring them back in. This is not the uniform of the Nordiques. This is a modern take of the uniform. At least, the home jersey. And I think it could possibly work. It's just, it still fits within their motif. This is their identity. Next one, Houston. I brought in the Arrows. This is a old AHL/IHL franchise. Also was a World Hockey Association team for a while. And this is just my concept for that. And there's a lot of green and red. I mean, you look at the Minnesota Wild, so yeah, I get Minnesota Wild vibes with the uniform. But if you keep the red at the minimum, you're not gonna have much of that aspect. Kansas City, they built the T-Mobile Center to attract their franchise. They need to fill it up, and this is a great way. That way, you have the show me showdown between Kansas City and St. Louis. The logo I chose was Kansas City Outlaws, which only existed for one season in the old Central Hockey League. But the solar patch is from the Kansas City Scouts, just recolored to match the color scheme of the Outlaws. So this is one of the aspects you can look at. And then the final team was the Portland Eagles. The Eagles, I could have went Screaming Eagles, which is a callback to World Hockey Association. There was a Miami team that was actually called the Screaming Eagles, but never took the ice and became the Philadelphia Blazers. This is the logo is from their Western Hockey League Portland Winterhawks. They rebranded into this particular eagle design, and the shoulder patch is from the Portland Rosebuds, the first American franchise to compete for the Stanley Cup before the Seattle Metropolitans won it. So definitely some things quick little synapses. I mean, it's fun to kind of help design these things. It took me a while to find the right programs. I don't use Photoshop. To try to find a free program I'm able to kind of create these things. That's why you see different logos on the jerseys, because that's from the company that allows you to import and then change up the colors. But anyways, enough of that. Here comes the other aspect of this video where you're kind of scratching your heads. Okay, so now we added these franchises into this league. Now we're going up to 36. Now we're down to, now we'll go to 6 divisions of 6. And let's go off, and I almost brought back the name divisions. So I missed, the old Norse days. But if I was going to do the North Division, I wanted to bring back all the original members of the Toronto Maple Leafs, Detroit Red Wings, the Chicago Blackhawks, the St. Louis Blues, the Minnesota North Stars. I mean, those were the crutch of of my early childhood that I can remember when I started paying attention to hockey. But then I kept the geographic. So, Northeast of a lot of familiar foes in here. So Boston, Montreal, and Toronto will keep battling each other as per usual, as well as Ottawa. You also bring in the expansion Nordiques and another original 6 member in the Detroit Red Wings. So 4 of the original 6 are in this. Ironically enough, Ottawa and Quebec also have franchises in the NHL prior to the original 6. It's like, wait a minute, doesn't make sense. NHL went through some early hiccups, and they had teams in Ottawa, Quebec, Hamilton, Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, and St. Louis at one point in time before they finally settled on here's the 6, and this is what they ran through for decades before they doubled in size. Enough history. Let's move on. The Atlantic Division, aka Metropolitan. I hate that name, so I went back to the Atlantic. And then, of course, Rangers, Islanders, Devils, Flyers, and Penguins all know each other because of this division. A lot of rivalry between there. And I decided to bring over the Buffalo Sabres. Now, you could probably switch Boston to Buffalo. But I kept Buffalo here because they're in the state of New York. So they are able to battle the rest of the Empire State and the Isles and Rangers. Plus close proximity to Pittsburgh, so they can continue their rivalry. And I figure it's a good, geographic niche right there in New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania. In the Southeast Division, and this is where you see, recreated that division where you had Florida, Tampa Bay, Carolina, and Washington. Here you also bring in Nashville, which fits that motif, in the oddball Columbus Blue Jackets. I mean, someone had to go somewhere. Out west, and the Central Division, not much changing. I mean, you still have Chicago, Dallas, Minnesota, and St. Louis all battling each other. Perfectly fine. Houston, I think, is a no-brainer for expansion site because of it being a top 10 U.S. city. Another team in Texas to help battle the Stars. Develop great rivalry. And bringing Kansas City, I mean, yeah, they had the scouts temporarily. Didn't quite work out for them. Maybe get a good ownership group. You already got a decent arena in place. And then you had that rivalry with the Blues. And halfway between Minnesota and Texas. I mean, yeah, of course, the name, you could probably change it to Express because there's a couple a double meaning in that name. So, but, that's my Central. The Pacific, this is where you can see the California teams still playing each other. So Anaheim, LA, San Jose, still have Vegas in there. Now you bring over Colorado and Salt Lake. That way it kind of helps keep the Pacific in that little generation, the 4 corners to California. Does Colorado really want to be in here in Salt Lake? Probably not. You have to go somewhere, and I'm not going to put the Texas teams in here. That's a 2-hour difference, or I have the 1-hour difference than 2. Northwest, this one definitely stretched a bit. Northwest, definitely Calgary, Edmonton, Vancouver, and Seattle. You have to keep those together. Portland's another one. It has to be in this region. That way, Portland, Seattle, Vancouver, the Cascadia series. The oddball is Winnipeg. Just like Columbus, they're the oddball in this group. But they do have history with the Flames, Oilers, and Canucks because for a time frame, they were all in the same division, the old Smythe. Because of relocation and all that stuff, they got shifted out there.
Winnipeg really go for this? No, because then they lose their rivalry with Minnesota and other central time zone teams that keep their games the same time frame. Now they're playing 2 hours later. Look at the whole aspect. I mean, yeah, it is a completely heavy presence across the nation. Like I said, there's other cities that definitely you can throw in there. You can throw in Atlanta. You can throw in Hamilton, Hartford, Milwaukee. Why Milwaukee's not even here? Even I didn't put Milwaukee in here, and I still keep saying, why does Milwaukee not have one? Saskatchewan. I mean, Saskatoon almost got the Blues before the owners went, no, we're not doing that. So you almost had the Saskatoon Blues. That's my take. I understand not everyone's going to like this one, especially the aspect not having Atlanta in this type of scenario, because I think Atlanta's going to be one of those areas that's going to be highly contested. Try to balance out the divisions appropriately where it made the most sense. Try to keep a lot of rivalries together as I possibly could, with Columbus and Winnipeg being the outliers. Like I said, there's other, like I mentioned, the other cities that could be, like I said, Atlanta could be thrown in here. Try to figure out which one you take out, probably Portland, and throw in Atlanta somewhere and just redistribute everything. But that's the joy in these scenarios. There are like 30,000 different ways you can go, and you never know. Would this dilute the talent pool in the NHL? Yes and no. You start seeing more players step up as the star role in different locations. So you might not see a pooling of talent in one area as much as you do now. You might see them spread out. You probably see a larger influx of European talent come in. Maybe more American and Canadian will actually start getting in there. I mean, it could do. I mean, there's enough quality AHL teams I think it could compete at the NHL level right now. So it's not a far-fetched idea. I think going past any more than this, I think you will start seeing a huge drop-off in talent. But this is definitely an interesting take, fun exercise, definitely one that anyone can do and have fun with it. And just let me know below what you think. Visibility-wise, I understand, extremely low. But the NHL is kind of talking about it. But the first thing that has to happen is the Coyotes need a home, a permanent residence. Is it in the state of Arizona, or is it being relocated to either Kansas City, Salt Lake City, Houston? They're not going to Quebec. I'll stop that right there. They're not going to Quebec, even though this part makes the most sense. But it means, Detroit or Columbus have to go west, and neither one of them want to. So, if the Coyotes are going to relocate, it's going to be a western-based city. First thing has to happen before anything happens with expansion front, because once you find which city takes the Coyotes, then you fill in the rest. But hey, let me know down below what you think. Like I said, this is a fun exercise that anyone can do to really kind of get your creative juices kind of flowing. And it's just one of those very unique aspects when it comes to these type of scenarios. And just have fun with it. And just let me know what you think. Be kind, courteous. Great interaction. Always helps get this algorithm pushed up and get this video out to the masses. You also subscribe. Doesn't cost you anything. It just kind of helps me boost my numbers. Helps me provide more value for you. All you have to do is hit the notification button, click that bell icon, and turn on notification unless you next time I post any more content on my channel. And I will see you next time on Chat Sports Talk.